Hello and welcome to part 3 of my informative playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Now in the last official video we just saw off these bandits, including Haps, who was down here. Not sure which one of them he is, but we don't actually have many other options now. If we talk to Oleg, he's just going to say, go get some sleep. Yeah. Anyway, he's quite pleased. And call Bokken, and now head to the guest rooms on the second floor, because it's to advance the plot you need to sleep, and so you're basically forced to sleep. He gives us 100 gold coins, like he said he was going to reward us, and he has. It's very nice of him, since we spent all our gold on that armor for Amiri. Now we're actually going to pick up all these items. We get one item of real use. This is this Cloak of Resistance +1. There we go. This gives us a +1 resistance bonus on saving throws. We're also going to collect everything else, because we can sell it. We're going to put Cloak of Resistance on Valerie, because she's the one who's most likely to be out front in any future combat. And it just helps. There are quite a lot of fortitude saves early on, so it just helps her make them, and also, you know, her other saves are rubbish, so that's going to help out there. So
Don't hesitate. Like I saw it.
That now means we walk super slow, but that won't matter because we're going to sell all this stuff back to Oleg when we've finished. We can talk to Svetlana and we can loot some items, but she just says go get some sleep. So that's all there is to it. Now, should note that there is a really difficult perception check to see under the stairs here, and in fact, we win.
The dangers don't frighten me.
It's very rare to make that on a first attempt, and this chest is locked, and we're just going to see if Lindsay can open it. Yep, really high roll. It's DC 21 check, so it's unusual to make that. Like, what sort of average to make it, maybe like 50-50 chance or something. And you don't get another attempt if you don't have trickery as your skill, as a skill. So it's good to make that. It takes, I think it's chapter 2 before you get another attempt with Lindsay. This book just gives us some info about some of the nastier enemies we will encounter, and you know, in true sort of, you know, systems mastery manner, you read the book, it tells you what you need to do. This monster electrocutes things, so if you fight will-o'-the-wisps, you really want a way to deal with them with their electricity. And werewolves, bring a silver blade. Primals, use cold steel. So yeah, info on how to kill the various things. So we are going to go to sleep, and this is going to trigger a plot relevant dream. So you dream of this unnatural fog surrounding you, and then we meet the Guardian of the Blue.
Please hear me. Can you hear me? Please.
So it seems that if you notice, everyone else is sort of flat on their back. They sleep in a funny way, don't they? But it seems that we're the only one who can see her, and we're going to ask her, who on earth are you?
Who am I? Just a tear shed by the land itself. The bitter sigh of nature. I am a nymph, the guardian of this area. A defeated guardian. Call me the guardian of the bloom, if you wish.
And we're going to be super nice to her, because she's a central character in the game going forward. I'm not going to straight up tell you what's happening, but I'll draw attention to relevant stuff. And we're going to say, I'm glad my adventure begins with such a beautiful sight, because she is, after all, a nymph.
Beauty is so tender. It can so easily be crushed under the blows of cruel fate. But you can save it from being undone.
And we're gonna ask what she wants from us.
Aid, salvation. We have a common enemy, and long have I searched for someone who can defeat him. The one you call the Stag Lord. As a storm strikes ruthlessly with gusts and lightning, the Stag Lord wreaks havoc with the swords of his servants. And not just in the world of people. The land also suffers from the evil he brings. My forests and my flowers suffocate in this fog. Soon even I will vanish, as the last ray of light fades at dusk.
Now, as with a lot of this stuff, you might be guessing that there's more to this story, but it seems on the face of it that this nymph is suffering under the Stag Lord's rule, same as the rest of the Stolen Lands, and so it provides another reason to fight. And she refers to this fog, this unnatural fog that's sort of wreathing the Stolen Lands, that seems to be a result of something the Stag Lord is doing. So let's just say, question her. The Stag Lord's responsible for the fog?
Yes. It hides his fortress as well as his dark deeds. But while responsible, he did not create this affliction. It is the work of a powerful druid who has betrayed even himself. I know not why the powers did not leave this renegade, but even I was unable to defeat him.
So we've got an additional character, this powerful druid, and I think it's worth noting that she says, "I know not why the powers did not leave this renegade." So there's as I said, there's more to this story, and she says she was unable to defeat him. So something about this fog has been conjured up by a druid working with the Stag Lord. How can I help you?
This fog, it enshrouds, entangles, suffocates. If only I could learn how it was created. But my powers wane. I have barely the strength to call out to you. All I know for certain is that somewhere in this forest lies an old house, and it echoes with the remnants of a strange power. The Stag Lord and his druid were there. The fog hides this place from me, but I can point you to the bandits' camp near the Thornford. Make them tell you where this place is. Go there and listen to the echo, catch the whispers, search for anything that can tell you how the fog was created. Once the fog clears, nature will breathe again, and you will be able to easily find your way to the fortress of our mutual enemy.
So yeah, quite a few things in this big paragraph, but basically we won't be able to find the Stag Lord until the fog recedes, and she talks about this house, but doesn't know where it is. And she says, go to the Thornford, and then you'll find out where the house is. Visit the house, find out what's going on, and then you'll be able to get the fog to recede. So yeah. Anyway, all right, I understand. Farewell.
I don't believe in fate, stranger, but our meeting seems more than a coincidence.
Yeah, so, something going on here. And off we go back to sleep. And our journal updates, so basically that sets one half of our quest for Act 1, i.e. how to get the fog to recede. Now, before we carry on, I'm just going to grab some stuff from the stash. And I arranged these earlier. I talk about this in my video, which I labelled like 2.5, which was an intermediate episode talking about some of the backer awards and pre-order bonuses. These ones here are pre-order bonuses, and we're going to take all of these. We get so we're going to sort by we get a couple of pets. So Head Chomper first. This is an owl cat. It's really cute. Will accompany us, but it provides this morale bonus on perception and law nature, which is really good. It'll mean we can spot things a bit better. We're going to take Expert's Hat, which is a competence bonus on skill checks. That's going to be really nice for Lindsay. And this mesmerizing necklace, this incredibly nice early game piece of kit. This is going to increase the DC of our enchantment school spells by 1. It also means we can cast Colour Spray 3 times a day, but basically that is incredibly powerful. There. So that will mean our enchantment spells are even less likely to be resisted. And Tiger here. If you want to know the story of this, you can watch video 2.5. But suffice to say, this provides the same benefits as Head Chomper does. So we will take that, and we are going to equip little stuff, and I'll just show you what they look like. Yeah.
Friendship lasts forever.
Or
Adventures
not,
are
because
exciting.
they are. I think we need to rest before they're going to kick in. Oh well. And so we're going to take Necklace there to increase our DCs, and Lindsay, you can have your little hat. I think we can't activate them because we don't have our whole party going. So if we look here, you'll notice competence bonus +1 on everything. That's great because that's just boost our stealth just a little bit. So that's really handy. Yeah, excellent. So off we go downstairs. You'll notice we're actually moving quite a lot faster, even though we're overloaded. This is because we're in a sort of hub format at the moment, which means we ignore encumbrance, which is excellent. I'm just going to grab this stuff here before we do any chatting, because we're going to sell all our gear. There's no pickpocketing system. There's no thievery system. Anytime you see a box, just steal everything that's in it. And you can see Lindsay there looking like Indiana Jones. So first we're going to find Oleg, and he talks about the fog. Never seen anything like it. The road to Restov looks like some spilled milk just hung in there. I bet the Stag Lord is involved somehow. So yeah, what's going on with the fog? So we are just going to sell everything. There, we don't need any of this. Deal. We'll sell that book. And that should mean... yeah. Looking good. Deal. Now, the reason we do that is because we need over 500 gold to hire a mercenary. And I'm going to talk to Anareel 8 Eyes here, and she is the respecking and mercenary hiring person. And this is the main reason why we haven't leveled up yet, the only reason why we haven't leveled up yet, is so we can hire a cheap mercenary. Now, I'm not going to go through Anareel 8 Eyes dialogue. It's, I guess, inconsequential to the game as a whole. Maybe we'll do it a little bit later. But I've kind of decided that I'm going to go through the dialogue of the companions here in our home base relatively slowly. I'm not going to just dump it all in one go. Every time we meet them, I'll go through one set of dialogue because it can be quite overwhelming, and I don't really fancy just trudging through dialogue. So every time we come back, I'll try and remember to do one character. Who are you here? And basically we need to ask her, what is she doing here? And she's a Pathfinder, you know, sort of hence Pathfinder the game. So she's basically here to give us experienced fighters. So I need loyal and experienced fighters, and it says it will cost 500 gold pieces. Actually, it only costs 100, and this is I guess a bug that Owlcat must know about, but never bothered to. It's become a bit of a feature that at level 1 you can hire mercenaries for 100 gold, so long as you've got like 500 gold in the bank. So anyway, I agree. And we're going to take the other portrait I chose here. You can probably tell what type of character we're going to go for. This is a very nice druidic portrait. And we are not going to go tiefling this time. We're going to go a plain old bog standard human. And I think we're going to try and match this portrait. So some red hair. I think that face there. We'll just go regular body type. I think that suits quite well. Now the reason I discussed this in the second part of my introductory double feature, we're going human because we get this. We get an extra feat, and I like an extra feat, and it means we get an extra skill point as well. And Melly here, our druid, is going to be something of a skill monkey. Another reason for hire. So let me phrase this well. So first reason for hiring a mercenary is because you can fill gaps in your team. Like there are certain things that the game doesn't provide you, like a druid, and so you've got that whole druid spellbook which we are denied access to. Another reason for hiring a mercenary is that in the early game it means we fill out our team a little bit more. So some of the fights which are a bit hit and miss become slightly easier. So altogether, it just means you can have a slightly more varied team. I'm only hiring one mercenary. The rest of the characters, we're going to use the characters in the game. A reason not to use mercenaries, I guess, is they get a lower point buy. So they get a 20 point buy instead of our 25. But then some of the game characters have got low point buys or suboptimal stat distributions. So, you know, you can actually make a really optimized character through a mercenary. So for class, we're going to go druid here. Now druid's really cool. That all the druids are good, from plain old druid and all the archetypes. Now you'll notice it doesn't look like they get very much. It almost looks like it cuts off, but of course what they're getting here is full spell progression, full level 9 spell progression, same rate as a cleric would. We are a prepared caster, so we get to choose which spells we prepare, and because we're a divine slash druidic caster, every time we level up, every time we gain a new level of spells, so level 1 spells, level 2 spells, we gain the full book. So we don't need to select spells, we don't need to learn spells from scrolls. Our spells, you know, basically come from insight. Now, we're going to pick Feyspeaker here, and I can immediately hear people going, why on earth are you picking Feyspeaker when they have something of a reputation as a weak archetype? And the reason they've got that reputation is druids are normally a 3/4 bab class, 3/4 base attack bonus class, except Feyspeaker. Feyspeaker is a half bab class. They've got a wizard slash sorcerer style bab progression. Basically, they're never going to hit anything, or in theory they're never going to hit anything because the other ones are much have got that higher bab. And in fact, Defender of the True World is popular because it gets this Fey Stalker here. You get this morale bonus on attack rolls against Fey creatures, and as you might have guessed, or if you know something about this game, we're going to be fighting a fair few Fey creatures. And I ummed and ahed over this, and in the end I decided that Defender of the True World is not thematically congruent with my Fey Sorceress main character. And I found it very hard to justify it. This is a nice archetype, and it can do all sorts of things, but Feyspeaker is also like a strong archetype if played right. And the reason for that is these here. It's Fey magic. So the Feyspeaker gets bonus spells from the wizard spellbook. So they can pick at level 4, 6, 8, etc. A spell from the wizard / sorcerer spellbook, so long as it is illusion or enchantment. And we've already got an enchantment specialist, so Melly here is going to pick up a load of illusion spells. So at 4th level you get a 1st level spell which you can cast. It's slightly complicated. You pick a wizard spell at 1st level, so a 1st level wizard spell from the illusion and enchantment school, but you cast it as a 2nd level spell, so it's upscaled, so it gains DC, but it occupies a slot 1 level higher. So there are pros and cons to that. So if you imagine 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th level wizard spells, and this 8th level wizard spell you would have to cast as a 9th level druid spell. If you know what you're doing, this can be really powerful, and I'm going to hope to show that. At the early levels, it's not going to be so relevant. We're going to be picking up things like Vanish and Mirror Image, but as we get on, we're going to be picking up some high-level illusion spells like Phantasmal Web, Phantasmal Putrefaction, and I'm going to be able to demonstrate quite how cool it is to have those spells, since we don't otherwise have an illusion specialist, and I love illusion spells. Of course, illusion spells also target will, so we're going sort of, we'll have 2 people who can target will saves, but a lot of the time this sort of disabling magic is it's a matter of layering. So 2 spells cast that target will are better than 1. Of course, things like undead and that sort of stuff we're not going to be able to affect at all. So obviously we need some sort of second fiddle. So we're not just going to be illusion. We are going to be illusion and the Druid spellbook, which is really good. And finally, I talk about in the introductory videos pets and or animal companions, I should say, and Druids get animal companions. And I thought it would be remiss to run through Kingmaker, a game famed for animal companions, without one myself. So we're going to be taking this Feyspeaker here, so we get an animal companion. Oh, the other disadvantage here is this. So we can wild shape, but Feyspeaker has their wild shape progression delayed by something like 2 levels. So if you see here, wolf at 6, regular druid, wolf at 4. So not only do we lose out on our bab, also our wild shape is delayed. We still get the full package, we just get it later. And the reason for this is that apparently Feyspeaker in pen and paper, I'm not really a pen and paper knowledgeable person, but apparently Feyspeaker gets various other bonuses. So for instance, a Feyspeaker can speak Sylvan or Fey or whatever, but in Kingmaker all the Fey just speak English, so there's no that would be completely inconsequential. So let's go ahead and so we don't have to take an animal companion. We can take a domain if we wanted to, and in fact a domain will give you 1 extra spell slot per level, which can be really powerful if you know how to use it, but generally considered to be slightly weaker than the animal companion, not because domain on a druid is weak, but because animal companion is powerful. And you also get what was I gonna say? And in fact, you can pick animal domain here, and you'll get an animal companion anyway at level 4, but it will be a lower level, so you have to pick up a feat to manage that. We're not going to be doing that, although it can be made to work very powerfully. You also get such as this Lightning Lord, and you get domain abilities, so you can make domain work, and it as you can make almost everything work in the game. But we're going to go quite simple. We're going to get animal companion, Complexity abounds in this game. Not simply enough to have an animal companion. You get a choice of lots of animal companions, and you'll see it says, it'll give you size, speed, armor class. It'll tell you what happens when you level up. It gives you ability scores. It tells you what attacks you've got, and it says like special abilities, like and +4 to Dex at level 7. It can be really, really hard to, crunch numbers in your head as to what's best, and so it's almost like pick what's thematic. None of them are bad, although some are worse than others. Very popular ones I should just discuss is Smilodon. The reason why Smilodon has been so popular is because it gets 5 attacks. Right, it's the only animal companion that gets 5 attacks, and it also gains this pounce. So pounce means if you charge, if you have pounce, you make all your attacks, so all 5 attacks, when you connect after the charge. Most of the time, without pounce, if you charge, you make 1 attack. Same as if you were moving and attacking. So whereas with pounce, you make a full attack when you connect. It's really quite powerful. Other popular animal companions is the Mastodon. Let's see if I can bring this up. Because it gets trample, this is like an AoE effect that's really quite powerful, and I believe that the Mastodon can get quite high armor class as well. Dog. Let's see what I can bring this up. Yeah, dog, because they have trip, and trip is really powerful. If you trip something, it falls on the ground, and then when it stands back up, it gets it incurs an attack of opportunity. When it's on the ground, it gets a prone penalty to armor class. Tripping can be really powerful, and I think one of the go-to unfair like mercenary type characters is a kinesthicist who can do like AoE trip using what's it called? Deadly Earth with Bowling Infusion. Means you can send your enemies scattering like bowling pins. As far as I remember, Dog is marginally better than Wolf. Except I can't. Trying to remember. I think it works out that the Dog ends up with 1 higher attack bonus, but don't quote me on that. Bear, yeah, it's like I've heard people say they don't like the boar. This is rubbish. But again, don't take my word on that. If you want a boar, go for it. You might find it slightly weaker than some of the others. Giant centipede and monitor lizard get poison, which I believe can be used to considerable effectiveness if you stun things first, I think. Yeah, some people swear by them, but we are going to be going this one, leopard, and I'll explain why. So first of all, leopard is fast. Okay. If you look, dog is 40, leopard is 50, Smilodon 40, wolf 50. So it's in the higher speed. Okay. Secondly, leopard is dexterity based. So at 4th level, as dexterity instead of strength modifies to damage rolls, and that means our buffing of our leopard will be limited to requiring dexterity buffs rather than strength and dexterity, because this will increase its armor class, its attack bonus, and its damage. Thirdly, it's small. Okay, most of these animals are medium. In fact, I think they're all medium apart from the leopard. And once you reach a certain level, you become even bigger. So everything else increases from medium to large. The leopard will increase from small to medium, and it can be quite awkward to have large characters, large pet as well as everything else. It means it takes longer to connect with the enemy because you're having to wrap around. So keeping everything a little bit smaller is quite handy, especially if I'm using characters that are themselves enlarged through enlarged person. And finally, penultimately, it has a trip attack, okay, which means it can trip just like the dog. It has a bite attack, meaning we can use acid more to add acid damage, and at 4th level it gains pounce. So on the occasions when I use charge, we'll be getting all 3 of these attacks here. And I even though these numbers look really small, it's getting dex to damage, which is the main issue. So small range is not as big an issue as the attack bonus from our dexterity. But early on, before we reach level 4, our leopard is going to be relatively weak, and it will benefit from a strength buff for damage as well. But that's the price we pay. Early on, our leopard will probably spend quite a lot of time lying on the ground dead. Unlike our human and demi-human companions, animal companions will consistently rise from the dead, and if they die for real, all you need to do is rest and they'll come back nicely. So yes. Other things about the Druid is resistant nature's lure. So this is a nice, since we're going to be encountering quite a lot of Fey, this is nice to have this +4 bonus on saves. So let's hit next. So you'll notice this 20-point buy instead of the 25 we had with Alice. So that's a downgrade, but not as bad as you might think. Also, all these 3 here, they're all wisdom-based casters. Feyspeaker is charisma-based. Now, it's not ideal for us because we've already got one charisma-based caster, and charisma is a less useful stat on a non-main character than, say, wisdom, which will boost will saves. But we deal with what we've got. We're human, so we get to choose which skill we would like, which ability we'd like to gain our +2 bonus to. Of course, we're going to go charisma. Going to bump that to 19. Then we're going to bump wisdom to 13. This means we can take a feat that means we can cast spells while in wild shape. It's not essential, but it is nice. And then we're going to distribute a little bit to strength, a little bit to dexterity. Because I've got an idea for what this character will be doing later in game. We could raise charisma to 20, but I think for this character, we'll keep it like this. And, she is a primary spellcaster. So we've got our main character, who's a primary spellcaster, and our mercenary, who's a primary spellcaster as well. And we get 5 skill points here, which is great. We're going to take perception. It's really handy. We're going to take law and nature, which we'll need for hunting. We are going to be slightly short on an athletics person, so we're going to go there, and we're going to put the others in knowledge arcana and knowledge. In fact, it's not such a big deal here. We'll use magic device, so we've got it unlocked, and we'll stick it in knowledge world for now. I think that should be everything. Yep. So we Druid gets 1 feat at level 1 and no bonus feats. However, we're human, so we get the human level 1 bonus feat. We're going to go spell focus, conjuration, and great spell focus, conjuration. Druids have great conjuration spells, as well as illusions. We're going to make really good use of the druid's conjuration spells, and I think of the spell, it's sort of, I guess, do you want to go conjuration or do you want to go transmutation? Is the decision to make in my opinion. They have lots of good transmutation spells. They have lots of good conjuration spells, but we're going to go conjuration here. Finally, finally, I should add that another penalty that Feyspeaker has is they have no spontaneous casting. Most druids can spontaneously convert a spell which they've memorized into a summon spell. We can't. So that's a pretty punishing downside. But you know, I kind of think, well, one reason for going to Feyspeaker is I don't want to make this too easy. We don't want to just sort of blitz through everything and make it look, super easy. Like if I was hiring a whole team of mercenaries and we could roll along with, 3 sorcerers and just sort of crowd control everything and have a 4th melee sorcerer to pick up the pieces afterwards. So spells, we gain all these spells here at first level. That's every spell, and we slot them into slots. And
a trivial task.
We're going to go confident voice. There we go, and we're going to go neutral good, same as Alice, our main character. And there we go.
Interesting.
So we should see now. Excellent. And we start off with a scimitar, which is going to do absolutely nothing. Might as well throw that away. There's just no need. So next up, we're just going to talk to Svetlana, who's going to give us a quest. So she has a request here. If you have a moment, I have a request. Well, go right ahead. And she asks the woman Cressley who drank the invisibility potion instead of fighting us when we first showed up at Oleg's. She's basically saying she stole her wedding ring, and not only that, but she wants us to get it back, but also she doesn't want us to hurt the woman who took it. So she talks about how precious it is, and then she says, this woman is extremely dangerous, but I beg of you, show her mercy. And obviously, we'll know the ring because it's got her name engraved in it, but, well, I'll be happy to help. And that's and that's it for Svetlana. Now, we've still got 684 because it only cost us 100 to hire that mercenary. And we're now going to upgrade Alice here to level 2. And we're just leveling her straight up as a sorcerer. So here, nothing particularly exciting here. In fact, I think level 2 is the least interesting sorcerer level. We gain 2 skills. We're going to go Persuasion and Law Nature. This one is our key skill here. We gain no new spells at all. And there we see the only real change is this. So we've gone from being able to cast 5 spells at level 1 to 6 spells at level 1. Let's complete that. There. Head outside. Now, we're just going to go up here because we're going to loot a box. We're going to basically loot the whole of Oleg's for disposable stuff and sell it back to him. Like any good RPG. And that's just here. Valerie's up here, looking off into the distance. For a lawful character, she doesn't... Oh, I should say this rope. This is important. Rope plays a role in the game, as do crowbars. So Mary here. Just grab this, some potatoes, and I don't think there's anything up here. So we're going to just sell this junk back to Oleg. In fact, we might just give Lindsay the big crossbow. This is the difference between 1d8 and 1d10. So Lindsay being small is the difference between 1d6 and 1d10. Oh, I should also point out that druids can't use any ranged weapons apart from darts at the moment, so she really is of no... like I know she's got half bad, but really can't do very much at all. So let's just sell off these bits. We're even selling off her sword. We'll hang on to that crossbow. And I'm going to distribute our pets. There we go. So Oleg's got some quite nice things for sale. I mean, we could buy this for melee, but I'm not going to, just because I don't consider it a good use of money. We want this bag of holding here, but we'll get to that. Now, actually, cash is really important in the game. Like every penny counts, as long as you don't waste time doing it. We're going to get a quest from Bokken here. We'll ask him, can he help in any way? And he gives us the infamous Fangry Cave quest. And he warns us it's been overrun by spiders. And spiders are not very good at being killed with swords. They require things like fire, splash weapons, acid, that sort of stuff. Well, at least the little ones do. So-called swarms. Swarms being a sort of unique type of Pathfinder enemy. This was infamous because, you know, he kind of gives you this quest as the first quest. Sends you off, and you encounter enemies you can't actually kill. Or you can't kill without stepping back and having a think and reading some info about them. So yeah. This was a change in after the game was in one patch or so after various patches after release. He now says his dialogue has been changed to say they're really difficult to kill, and he gives us alchemist fire, which is new. He also says he needs moon radishes. He doesn't know where they are, but we actually do. So we'll be picking them up, and in fact I'm going to do that before I do the Spider Swarm quest, because of the route I've got planned out for this act. If you ask him why he needs them, he just says, I'll tell you once I get them. It's a bit rude, Bokken. But as I said, he's one of our artisans, so you know, he's going to be a constant presence. Alright. And he's also a merchant. He's got some nice items, little items. Things like barkskin potions, a wand of mage armor, and this book here, which is actually part of his quest. he sells the book, which is required to finish the quest. It's quite something. So finally, before we leave, we're just gonna pick up some camping supplies. And the reason for this, if we take 6 here, gives us 10. And the reason for this is you can waste a lot of early game time hunting, and if we're not hunting, we save time, and so yeah, that's quite handy. I think we're all ready to head out. In fact, let's just do one thing. I said I was gonna chat to one companion, and since Amiri's companion quest comes up first, we'll just chat to her first. So this is Amiri. She's a barbarian. She's got a scythe. She's got a big sword on her back. So, being a Pathfinder iconic, Amiri is sort of she's not an Owlcat original, or even a setting original. She's from the Pathfinder iconics, i.e. they're sort of embodiments of different classes, and you could probably guess she meant to embody barbarian. So we're going to ask her about her sword, and she's very proud of it. It's huge. She said it belonged to a frost giant she killed. And, yeah. So you kind of get the impression she's a bit insecure. Tell me about yourself. And we get lots and lots of options. So she's from the realm of the Mammoth Lords, which is not that far away, if I remember my Galarian geography. What's it like being a Six Bears tribe? It's a really simple answer, so we can cut a monster in half with one swing. Yeah, basically she's boastful. Amiri is boastful and insecure, and I quite like that about her. Like, you know, a boastful and insecure barbarian is quite a nice thing. Can ask her, what does the realm of the Mammoth Lords look like? This is huge and freezing. Yeah, she's trying to big it up as a horrible place to live. She says sometimes demons come too, because if you're familiar with Wrath of the Righteous, the realm of the Mammoth Lords kind of is to the west of the Whirlwind, so that's why I think she's mentioning demons here. We're going to ask her why she left. And she says they were all assholes. Yeah, and then they disliked the fact that she was a woman. Maybe she's overcompensating with that enormous sword. And yeah, I guess gender stereotypes in the realm of the Mammoth Lords are alive and well. And so she says she's going to hunt with the men, and yeah. So you can see that she's sort of struggling to find a way to make it sound good. And we're going to ask finally. Guess you had a lot of training. And she says nobody trained her. She just taught herself by kicking butts. And finally we'll say you're quite a good fighter. And we actually get a alignment choice here. And we're gonna pick chaotic good here, because, you know, Alice is neutral good, but she's more over to the chaotic side, and we'll probably lean further that way as we go than towards the lawful side. So certainly she's not lawful neutral. So chaotic good. There we go. And that's it for me. Well, actually, we can just ask why she left her tribe. This has been unlocked from our discussion, and she doesn't elaborate, but we will learn more. Thanks, Amiri. Nice of you to chat. And off we go. So as I said, I'll try and run through all the companions, but I don't want to labour over it. But I think that gives us a sense that let's take that stuff. That Amiri is boastful and insecure, but, you know, and chaotic, but, you know, pretty good-hearted. But she doesn't tolerate weaklings. And just like that, there's her portrait. This frost giant sword. You know, it's hard to imagine how she can lift that with her rather mediocre strength of 16. Okay, so we've got Thornford down here. And we've got Fangbury Cave, which is Bocken's quest here. And I'm probably gonna and that's it. But we are going to get a random encounter that's going to trigger another location. So we beetle down the map. This is a scripted encounter. With this sort of mysterious stranger, jittery old man. I think he's I think the word I'd use to describe him is cryptic. Cryptic old man. Strange weather, invisible fog, creeping out of the woods, etc., etc. And Mary thinks he's some sort of witch or something. She's just even drawn her side. Wow. Who are you, old man? And he doesn't give a very useful answer. It's a bit irritating, actually. What are you doing here? And he literally says, he's breathing. So, fog looks visible enough to me. And, again, bit meaningless, bit of foreshadowing. But I think this is one of the important one. Invisible fog. Does that mean you can find your way? You can't. Does that mean you can find your way through it? Because, of course, it's invisible fog. And he says it's wrong. It hinders your legs, not your sight. Very strange. And finally, these three, it's either piss off, I'm going, or, piss off or I'll kill you. And I think, naturally, we're picking, I should probably go. But he this is the first hint of our rival, i.e. Tartuccio. Your rival wastes no time. He races, but in another direction. He searches for power, and he'll find it. So I wonder what power. My rival Tartuccio. Yeah. So, what power is he searching for? This is cryptic. Means nothing to us at the moment. But someone else's old but forever young. That which was taken from another. That which gave joy. And now gives death. So again, foreshadowing of the primary antagonist of the game. Well, where's Tartuccio now? This gets us a nice bit of experience and unlocks the ancient tomb, which is another location. And we're just going to say thanks. How do you know we're rivals? And he just sort of says he sees it in his head. Thanks, Remus. Off you go. We'll meet Remus again. He'll be causing us trouble. So, yeah. Farewell. But this is, I guess, draw your attention to once stolen, the land should be reclaimed. Once reclaimed, bound with the claimer shall it be. Bound, merged, joined by unbreakable ties. Claiming the land, claiming its pain, claiming its death. So this almost sounds like a curse here. That there's some sort of curse. And if you remember back to episode 1, the first book we read with the Cyclops Empire referenced in it, that again talked about curses. But bye, Remus. We'll see you around. So the last thing I'm going to do before I end this video, and it's a bit unfortunate, it's taken so much time I haven't been able to get into any combat, which is one of the primary appeals to this, is that we've now got our two locations, Ancient Tomb and Thornford. This kind of forks the route through Act 1, depending on which one you go to first. We're going to go to Thornford first. I prefer doing this. It makes it slightly harder, because if we go to Ancient Tomb first, both Harim and Jaethal will be there, and we'll be able to get one to join us, so we'd be able to fill out our roster. Whereas if we go to Thornford first and then Ancient Tomb, there'll just be an ambush waiting for us. But why make things easy? And also this changes our encounter in Thornford if we go there first, actually, which alters our final battle. But first, we're going to go down here. And the reason for that is that if we try and sleep a nasty curse, the theme of curses, we can't sleep. We have troubled night, and we just get like dreams which say come here. And in fact, we're going to preempt that because I know what's going on, and we're going to visit Nettle's Crossing and find out and prevent this curse from even impacting us. Because I'm all about the saving time here. So this is Nettle's Crossing. It's a small map, and the first thing of note is down here, right there. Perception check. And this ancient Roslandic coin, and it says a well-grounded antiques collector might pay handsomely for it. Basically, we collect these, and we can cash them in for far more than the 50 gold it says it's worth to an NPC called the Storyteller. And we want to get as many of them as possible, because gold is really important in the early to mid game. Yeah, and we're going to want as much as possible. So just to show you here, there seems to be some sort of bridge that has collapsed, and if we look here, it'll talk about the toll. 5 coins to cross a expensive bridge. Some budding young capitalist has set himself up here, and obviously somebody didn't take a liking to it. And we can just have a look here. Small house burnt down a dozen years ago. Now there's 2 difficult perception checks in this house, and it doesn't matter if we don't make them, but there's one. Just some nice, things to sell. Potion of resist cold. And the other one here is harder, and we didn't make it. That's fine.
Adventures call to
We
them.
should maybe activate our cat. That's tiger. So that will actually give us this morale bonus on perception checks, which might have increased our chance. She's not our primary perception person, but I gave it. Why did I give Tiger to Lindsay? Can't remember. Who's our primary perception person? I guess Amiri here. But we're also going to activate Head Chomper on melee. There. But the main reason for coming here is down here, which is Davik Nettle. Or should I say his corpse, which is stumbled out the river. He's sort of, sort of zombie living in the river. Cool. And he's holding a spear. Yes. So, but somehow he's able to curse us. So you can feel we can feel him having some sort of effect on us, which is not very pleasant. Who on earth are you? And again, he sort of imparts us with a vision that he came here from Brevoy, which is the country we've just come from, and decided to build a bridge and charge people. Yeah, very enterprising of him. How did he die? Well, I think you can guess that the Stag Lord did him in. Obviously didn't like him charging this toll, or just wanted a cut. I should point out, this is Tiger and this is Head Chomper. There they are. They are going to accompany us. So Davik set off his hounds, and a whole 10 of the Stag Lord's folks shot him full of arrows. Well, yeah. Anyway, what does he want? And he wants the Stag Lord dead. And it's convenient, because we were already going to do that. But I always laugh at this bit, because this is Lindsay's sort of chaotic nature, done in a rather ham-fisted way. It's so... she's like, well, why don't we not do it? Anyway, if we ask him why we should do it, he basically says, because fuck you, I've put a curse on you. And can't he kill him himself? He basically says that the Stag Lord's men have stayed away because there's a zombie hanging around, and we're just gonna agree. We can try and say no, but basically we're gonna agree to do this because we're gonna do it anyway. And Alice is a bit of a problem solver, so there we go, and we get this bit of experience. And there's our quest there. So our quest to go to the ancient tomb, our quest to kill the Stag Lord, and we've already done that one, so I'm going to only see. Yeah. Well, seems we're stuck with that one. But Svetlana's ring, Bokken's fangberries, Bokken's moon radishes. But this is the new one, and you can actually see journal updates by saying we've been having nightmares, or Lindsay saying we've been having nightmares. And it calls you to the Shrike River. Now, unfortunately, if you're playing this game fresh, never played it before, you know, the Shrike River is quite a big place, and on my first playthrough I had first of all I had no idea why I couldn't sleep, because I didn't read a dialogue box, and secondly, the Shrike River, you know, starts here and goes up here, so that's quite a big area to cover, and I was like, the time's ticking down, what do I do? Just one final note, this is the fog all around, the Stag Lord is hiding in it, and I am going to pause, I'm going to stop the video now, and in the next video we're going to head off to Thorn Ford.